Alright, what you're about to see is stupid. I have decided there is a dungeon, and everybody knows it. CUMMMFPK. You can come right here, you can stand right here in this dungeon. Look at your health bar. It's triple cursed. Look right there. I just got a bunch of free blood echoes. Because something died. A hunter. There's a hunter. He spawns in, but his AI doesn't work. And the game's mechanics don't even work. He's spawned so far away. However, everything is loaded in a sort of chill state where everything loads, but it can turn on at a moment's notice. It's there, but it just doesn't do anything. This hunter is being killed by a pendulum, and you can get a bunch of free blood echoes. But again, look at your health bar, my health bar. This dungeon is triple cursed. That's why you get so many blood echoes for things dying here. And a year ago, I decided I was going to try and beat this dungeon. And I don't remember how far I got into it, but it was just sort of a silly thing, and so I just sort of forgot about doing it. Okay. Well, the other day I'm watching a streamer, and I challenged them to beat the dungeon. And they're like, it was my friend Ghost _hardware _. And it started off, he just needed to level up a build, and he'd actually never been in the dungeon. He didn't know how it worked. So his viewers were explaining it to him, and he was like, "Oh, this seems cheesy." And I was like, "Kill the boss, homie." And it started off as a bit of a joke. I was like, I'll help you. You can summon me and I'll help you. And it was just people joke about, helping the streamer. It's just a common sort of white sign down streamer. Summon me, aughts. And, we couldn't connect to each other because Bloodborne's matchmaking is just absolute garbage. And so he couldn't summon me and I couldn't summon him. But as I start thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to beat the dungeon. This is going to be the year I do it. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I was just kind of goofing off, just thinking, yeah, I'll try it. It wasn't on stream, nothing. And I'm not streaming during this footage either. This is just me playing Bloodborne. I'm getting ready to do a run for Halloween, a Sinister run. It's a PvP run. A lot of people say, oh, it's a shame Bloodborne didn't have PvP. Bloodborne had PvP. In fact, Bloodborne had some very fun PvP. It's just a pain in the ass to make it happen. But if you can make it happen, it can be tons of fun. And so every Halloween, I do a run, and I play through the game with my Sinister Bell. And I get invaded, and then I get also invaded by purples, by adversaries. So I've skipped ahead a little bit here. I was trying to get summoned by Ghost. Our games wouldn't connect, and so eventually I said, all right, you know what, I'll race you. And so we started to race to see who could beat this boss faster. And this is the Keeper of the Old Lords. Notoriously a pain in the butt, but easy to parry. And so if you can just sort of keep the parry loop going, easy fight, easy. The hardest part about this is when she doesn't do her counterattack. She has this counterattack right there. That's what you're trying to parry. If she gets that buff off, all of her attacks leave a trail of fire behind them. It's it makes things harder. So we don't want to let her buff if we can help it. The other problem is if you parry her against a wall, she will fly through the wall and into the ceiling, and then you can't hit her unless you have a cannon or something, and I don't, so you gotta be careful. But this is basically a test of patience and staying calm under pressure, and just having faith that I know how to parry this boss over and over and over again. That's all it is. Not too bad, but you can't make a single mistake because you'll die because you have 22 hit points. If you look at my health bar, you'll see the average Elden Ring co-op. This is the strongest Elden Ring co-opper's health bar, right there. Look how many blood echoes you get for beating that boss. I'm gonna skip ahead here because I just kind of was chilling and I was just typing in chat, watching Ghost Hardware stream. So I'll skip ahead. Then we go to Layer 2, and oh, you'll notice that I couldn't pick up a blood gem. So the way it works in Bloodborne is when you do these chalice dungeons, every time you beat a boss, they drop a blood gem. And a blood gem is, it goes in your weapon, it makes it stronger. There's no infusions in Bloodborne. If you want your weapon to scale with strength, you have to find a blood gem that makes that happen. If you want it to scale with arcane, so that it can do fire, bolt, or arcane damage, you have to find the gems that go with that. If you want your weapon to just do more damage, if you want it to do more counter damage, if you want it to do more blunt damage or more thrust damage, you just have to go find that blood gem. And you have to kill the boss, and you have to hope that you get a good one. And all the best blood gems have a curse on them, so you have to get a curse that's manageable. There's certain curses that, like, attack down. That blood gem might as well not even exist, you know? Well, it's my understanding, you know, there's no loot pool for a triple cursed blood gem. So you just don't get blood gems in this dungeon, which is honestly fair, because if you could get blood gems from a triple cursed dungeon, it stands to reason they would be, like, insanely strong. It would be funny if they had 3 effects, but had 3 curses on them as well. So, you know, it would be like, you know, attack up 25%, attack up 25%, attack up 25%, HP depletes -8 per second, increased stamina usage 4%, attack down 7.9%. Like, it would just be absolute, it would just be hellish. It would be hellish trying to farm gems from this. But if you ever got one that was good, you'd be the greatest Bloodborne PvPer of all time. So the bosses here, they're not going to drop blood gems for me. And that's fine. This is just to say we did it, because who the hell does this? I'm sure, I know, in fact, other people have done it. But my buddy Stochastic has done it. But he's done everything, so... We're and we're much worse. We are a much worse Bloodborne understander than Stochastic is. But you know, we can figure it out. I'm not too worried about exploring all the side areas and getting all the treasure or any of that. I'm good. I'll pass. There's no treasure in here that's worth getting. I'm just looking for that lever so that I can open the door to the boss, fight the boss, and move on. You know, if you want to spend all that time looking around in the dungeon, you go for it. But this is an any percent run. Any percent will do just fine. A lot of people don't like the chalice dungeons, but I really love them. I think they're great. It's if you like this game, and I mean if you really like it, then the chalice dungeon is essentially just like infinite PvE for as long as you want it. It can be very relaxing. I suppose also I should point out that this is a save-edited dungeon, right? So on console, we don't have hackers. We have save editors. And save editors buy a save editing program that allows them to make changes to a game. Now, if you're just your average shitter, what you do is you give yourself a bunch of blood gems, and you can put blood gems in places they're not supposed to go. You can hack your stats. You can not hack your stats, but you can give yourself impossible stats. So you can be level 120 with 99 and everything. So you've got 99 in all your stats, but the game says you're level 120. Stuff like that. And now some people just use the save editor to like make builds faster, and you know, they play perfectly legit. They just make their builds faster, and that's fine. Obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But we have these people who have made edited dungeons. So instead of just save editing their character, they've tricked the game into making a dungeon that it typically can't make. Now, I don't think they have full control over every aspect of the dungeon. They can just trick the dungeon into, like, I'm the game. I think I'm a dungeon that drops blood gems that are star-shaped, but actually, I'm a dungeon that drops blood gems that are triangle-shaped. But what that means is all my triangle gems that I drop are going to have the effects of star-shaped blood gems. Star-shaped blood gems are called radials, by the way. So you trick the game into dropping radials with triangle effects, or triangles with the opposite of whatever I said, or waning with radial effects, or radials with waning effects, stuff like that. You trick a dungeon that's very hard into thinking it's very easy, so that it will let new players in. We call those false depth dungeons. And because of the way that Bloodborne's Chalice dungeons work, once you make a dungeon like that, you can share it and everyone can play it. And so that's what this is. This is a save-edited dungeon. We've tricked the game into cursing a dungeon 3 times instead of just cursing it once. As a result, everything drops an insane amount of blood echoes. So if an enemy dies off-screen, you're going to get 1,000,000 blood echoes for that, and you can level up very quickly, or you can spend those echoes buying blood vials instead of farming blood vials, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. Do not farm blood vials. Farm blood echoes, and then buy blood vials. Anyway, second boss was a pig. The pig is down. GG's. I have no idea if this is going to have 3 layers or 4. Some dungeons have 3, some have 4. I think there's even a few that have 5, meaning that there will be, 3, 4, or 5 bosses. In this, I have no idea. Who does this? Well, judging by how many messengers were at that lamp, quite a few people are down here. For what reason, I have no idea. Bloodborne had a mechanic similar to Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. They all have these mechanics where they try to communicate to the player how many people are in an area. And in the case of Bloodborne, it shows up as messengers at the lamp. And the more messengers are at the lamp in a Chalice dungeon, the more players there are down in the Chalice dungeon. In Dark Souls 2, it just puts a little red ring around an area to show you that there's activity there. In Dark Souls 3, it'll put an ember symbol next to an area. In Elden Ring, they have the thing on the map, the little circles that you can look at. And in all of the games, except for Dark Souls 2, it just seems like it's just full of shit, if I'm being honest with you. It just seems like it's full of shit. They never seem to work right, but whatever, doesn't matter. Point is that we're here in Layer 3. This could be the end. This could be the last boss of the area, or there could be other bosses. At this point, there's no reason for me to kill this brain sucker. But I want to try and kill everything, just to see if anything drops me a blood gem. Because if anything were to drop me a blood gem, it could be hilarious. And I want nothing more than to find a blood gem in this cursed-ass dungeon. When you're in a cursed dungeon like this, the item discovery is, it goes up a lot. But none of the bosses are going to drop me any blood gems. I'm aware of that. Look at this. Come on. Right, see, are you really going to put the red spiders here? That's overkill. There's a bell lady. She rings her bell and she summons red spiders. And what happens is, as you play through the level, she's acquiring red spiders. The good news is that the red spiders, the regular spiders, and the dogs in this game, if you hit them with blood tinge damage, they fall over. So that means you can hit them with, like, you can just shoot them with your gun, and they'll just fall over, which is great. If we kill the bell lady, we kill the spiders. Still, though, very stressful situation. This is interesting, too, because we're in a Ill dungeon, I-H-Y-L-L, a Thumaru Ill dungeon, and we've got brain suckers, which is not a very common thing. I've seen them before, but I always take note whenever there's brain suckers in this type of dungeon, because it's not common. That would be interesting. Sometimes those brain suckers have good blood gems for very particular types of builds. So, like, in that instance, like, that's one of those instances where, like, if you could get a brain sucker to, like, drop you a blood gem in this dungeon, it could potentially be hilarious, I think. But, yeah, layer 3, we've got the lever open, which means we can now go fight the boss. What boss is in store for us? Let's go find out. And after we beat this boss, are we finished, or will there be more? Who can say? I might actually come back through here and, like, check out all the treasure, just to see, like, what's going on with the treasures in this dungeon. There's treasure, there's a treasure chest, a big treasure chest on every floor of the dungeon. And, you know, it's just a matter of finding it and going and getting it. It's the Bloodletting Beast, the headless variant. Now, this boss is, I love him. He's one of my favorites. I love the Bloodletting Beast. However, when you have 22 hit points, a problem arises, because the Bloodletting Beast's stepping on the ground does damage to the player if the player is too close. It's not a lot of damage. It's never enough to kill you, unless you have 22 hit points, and now suddenly it is enough to kill you. But this is one of those bosses. He's a big beast, and you just get to rip him apart from limb to limb. This is where Bloodborne shines, in my opinion. Nothing makes you feel like, you know, the game wants to try and make you feel like a hunter of beasts, and this is where the game shines at it. This is so good, and yeah, I love this boss. I know him pretty well. He can get difficult in phase 2. But as long as you stick to his sides and you learn how to... Right now you're seeing me dodge all of his attacks. They're all very well choreographed and, like, you know, you can see them before he does them. And right now in phase 1, I want to stay in front of him and bait those attacks out. And then in phase 2, I'm going to have to, like, try and stay by his side. He's a great boss. I love this boss so much. Really, not enough... I can't say nice enough things about him. I'm hitting him in the neck despite him not having a head, because if I hit him in the neck, it can stagger him, as you saw. It won't break any limbs. This boss is a huge piece of shit, and I hate him, and he's everything wrong with all video games, literally ever. Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition. That's just a little joke I do. That's just a little inside rib. Bloodborne lost Game of the Year to The Witcher 3, and anytime anything stupid happens in Bloodborne, I just like to point out that it did not win Game of the Year. Witcher 3 did. Real talk though, I absolutely adore this boss. I love him. Not a lot of bosses can really sell what their video game is trying to do as well as this boss can. And this is one of those bosses that you can't fight in the game unless you come down here into the Chalice Dungeons and fight him. And he's very frustrating for a lot of players. He has a punch that he does. It's like a Superman punch. And he'll do it if you stay too far away from him. And it's basically punishment for you being a chicken. He will just punch the shit out of you. And it's hilarious to watch it happen to people. But as a result, people get frustrated with this boss. But you can see he's not doing the punch very often against me. And the reason is because I'm staying in his face. This boss basically has a cycle that he likes to do, right? So right here, he's healing his limbs up. So I'm just going to try and beat those limbs up while he's healing. But see how he's walking towards me? And then if you notice, I sort of stopped walking away and walked into him and then started walking away again. What happens is he has this cycle where he walks towards you. And when he walks towards you, he's trying to figure out like what move he wants to do. Oof, got stomped on. He's trying to decide what move he wants to do. And so you walk towards him to get him to stop. Once he stops walking towards you, his AI decides between like 3 different attacks that it can do. It can stomp and jump away, it can do a big double hand smash, or it can do like a 4-hit combo. And it doesn't matter what he does, you just, respond to each one accordingly. The stomp, jump away, you just walk away from that. The double smash, you can just walk away and then walk back in and punish it. The 3-hit combo, it's a little more involved. You'll see how to deal with that. That right there is the fake punch. That's not the real punch. That's just so that's part of his combo right there. That's like the last 2 hits. And God, look at that. Him just walking around and me being too close to it killed me. Just absolutely frustrating. And this is what we're going to have to deal with. But we'll get him. So right here he's walking towards me. Big 2-hand smash. We just walk away, walk back in and punish. We walk away from the jump. Now when he jumps away, there's a chance he'll do this projectile attack. You can come in and punish that pretty good. We broke both of his arms. There is the 2-hit combo. We can punish that, but don't get stepped on or you die. Gonna take me a while to figure out how we can deal with this. So let's switch up our tactics a little bit. We're gonna try and leave his arms unbroken, and we're gonna try and work on his legs more. That became my strategy here. So I'm gonna hit that leg back there. And if I can hit that leg, it takes longer to break the legs. The arms break relatively easy. The legs are harder to break. So if I focus on the legs, I'll be... Oh, that projectile just like goes back and... Oh, what a jerk. I hate that thing. But the legs. Let's focus on the legs. The idea here is when you break his limbs, you kind of just have a second to wail on him for free. You can just hit him for free. So if I break his legs first, I can wail on him for free. Then in phase 2, I can break his arms and wail on him for free. Phase 2 is the scary phase. The worm pops out of his body, and the worm can like bite you, and it has very fast attacks. It's just not a lot of fun. And so you kind of have to stay to his side a little bit. But here you go. There's the combo. We're going to roll in on the last hit. There you go. Then he jumps away. He goes for the 2-hit combo. We'll work on the leg. Walk away so we don't get stepped on. Let him do his little throw a fit. Now, I rolled in on the first hit of his combo there, and it's kind of free, but I was scared to try it, so I didn't focus on doing that. I'm just going to take the safe route. So here we've staggered him, but not broke the leg. He's just staggered because he got hit too many times. It's basically like a posture break or a poise break. So we're working on the neck more than the arms. We want to kind of leave the arms. We can hit the arms a couple times. It's no big deal if we hit them a couple times. There we got the leg break. After the stagger. Beautiful. So he's at half health and we haven't broken arm yet. So this is looking pretty good. Walk towards him to get him to do something. He goes for the combo. Go for a running R2. He goes for the jump. We buff. Here comes the worm. Let's hit that arm. Now we're ready to break that arm. And look how much damage we're doing too. That's the scary part. And you can just walk to the side of it. But it's so fast that it is a pain in the butt. Projectile in phase 2 is a little scarier than projectile in phase 1. You'll notice I'm rolling to the side instead of rolling to his front during this phase. I'm rolling to the side so the worm doesn't bite me, like that. That was a close one. Roll in on the last bit. Staggered him because he took too much damage, like a posture break or a poise break, if you will. No second follow-up on that combo on that. That's kind of scary when he does that. We can break that left arm now if we can get to it. He's so close to dead. I'm absolutely sweating bullets right now. This is like one of the few times I'm ever nervous, like in a boss fight, is like trying to do this. I was terrified. I was absolutely mortified when I was getting him close to dead. I was so panicked. I thought I was going to choke. But he's gone. He's done. We did it. One last thing before we're finished. We are going to run ahead, and it turns out if this had been a layer 4 dungeon, the fourth layer would have opened up right there, right past the lamp here. No fourth layer. This is the end of the dungeon. This is a good place. I'm going to set a message down right here for anybody else who manages to do this dumbass challenge. This is a great way to learn this boss, I'll tell you that. Because you just can't make even a micro mistake at all. Anyway, happy October. It's probably past October now for you all watching this video. It's the end of October for me as I record it. Play Bloodborne. It's great. And here's a little look under the hood at everybody's favorite cum dungeon. Nothing but superior beings here. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this long video. Later, y'all.